I am Milton Guarderas, and basically for the past 5 years, I've been hosting VIP private events in crypto and traditional finance all over the world for free. And I have been doing this because I wanted to get a macro perspective of what's actually going on in the world. And I have learned a lot in the past 5 years. See, the decentralized AR metaverse platform is Hyperlens, right? What I am going to be talking about today is how the creator community is going to be, a huge part of Web3. Why is Web2 moving to Web3? Why are these creators in this community moving to Web3? What is so attractive about Web3 that this whole community is going to be, an essential part of Web3? And the thing is, if we really pay attention to the creator community in the past 10 years, right, we see that there's a trend that goes on. You create tools, and people will use them to create things, right? So we see, like, for instance, when Instagram revealed the feature for stories, and they basically gave people the tools to be creative, editing their photos, filters, we see, these tools, and the user base for Instagram, active users, doubled as soon as stories came out. People who really weren't content creators, they started creating a lot of different content. Then TikTok comes out, and then over 600 million users actively creating because the tools are there. As you see tools, more tools, and they're easier to use, there's people that are going to use them. See, I wasn't really a content creator like that growing up. But the thing was, once Instagram started to allow me to be creative and give me tools, instead of me just posting up pictures and videos, I can edit these pictures and videos in the app. So I started to create. I started to become a content creator, where that wasn't who I was or what I wanted to do. And there are millions of people out there, just like me, that aren't focused on creating content or being creators or anything like this. So, we see a trend. You create the tools, make them easy to use, and people will use them. And I have seen, this space grow. Web3, NFTs, play-to-earn games. There's so many different, tools being created for creators in Web3. But the thing is, that Web3 is different than Web2 because it gives people more power over what they create. They have ownership using NFTs. They can create games. They can create so many different new things that do not exist yet, right? And so what's attractive is that I can create something and it won't be censored. It won't be taken down. That's really, really attractive to a creator. I can sell my creation, and now I can monetize it without having to pay anyone else in the middle. So we're seeing this develop around the world, online, digitally, right? Where all these people are artists, like music NFTs right now, are getting very trendy in the United States. In California, there are new music NFT funds empowering creators, artists, So this empowers the creator. This empowers artists. It empowers individuals, instead of empowering these big companies, And so this is why I see the migration from Web 2 to Web 3. And this is why I decided to be a part of a project called Hyperlens, because as an investor, we see that we are very early on. It is extremely early on in the space. You see, I hear people talking about Decentraland. I hear people talking about, all these mainstream projects, right? And the thing is that we're still extremely early on, For me, I don't believe that any of the projects out currently are doing it, great. Like Decentraland, for instance, you have to buy land in order to create on it, or you have to rent space or something like this. For me, I don't feel like that's very inclusive. That's a barrier to entry. And as you create these tools, right, to create, that's lowering the barrier to entry. And for me as an investor, I actually am looking to invest in infrastructure, the tools of what people will use to create, to build, So that's why I am interested in basically creating these tools for anyone to create anything as a digital layer over the physical world, allowing anyone to do this with no code, and also have an SDK kit for developers to want to create anything sophisticated. See, if we build the tools for people to create digitally things that are going to affect the physical world, then I believe that there's a big opportunity. There's a big opportunity to create an ecosystem that, is in the power of the people's hands, in the hands of the people. So, yeah, this is why I believe that Web2 is good. The creator community is going to be the driving force for Web3, because it's going to be in the power of the people. And whenever people have the ability to create, they create some of the biggest companies like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So, yeah. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
How you doing?
Hi. I guess when you talk about things like giving creators tools, I think of things like Canva. Because, Canva is a very good example of something that democratized. Because, all the things that Canva does, we already had, but it was way more complicated to use. If you try to use Photoshop back when I was playing World of Warcraft, that was a really hard thing to use, and you needed a lot of technical skills. I guess, when I think about the metaverse, I always think about going back to that World of Warcraft. It's like we've had the metaverse since that existed. It's not like it's a new concept. So it's just like the idea of the metaverse, just World of Warcraft, but you have Canva attached to it to where you're not just limited by the games and the classes you could play in there, but you can actually create in your own things, if you wanted, kind of like, I don't know, Animal Crossing. I keep going to video games, I'm not sure why. But anyway, if you wanted to create a house that looks like a traditional Japanese garden or something like that, then you would be able to do that. Is that just the entire concept, or, what is the future, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. So to your point, video games, were the first, enabler of creator tools in the digital world for people to create what they would like, right? So I remember playing Halo, and then they allowed for you to forge and create your own world, your own games. Roblox now, they're allowing people to create whatever it is that they want. Games, everything, characters. And, Canva is amazing. I love using Canva. And that's what we want. We want to create these tools that are very easy to use, and you can be, very creative. That's the end goal digitally, right? For Hyperlens, we want to create that exact experience, and we are in the process of doing so. We want to make it so that when you're creating, an AR, right? You can be creative and have the tools to actually create whatever it is that you want. You could create play to earn games. You could do marketing, advertising campaigns. You can do, some cool like treasure hunts and all types of stuff. So like I feel like that is what we are striving to do. But the big corporations and companies don't really see the value in this. Like they want to keep all the value trapped in their wallets. They want to make all the money. And I feel like the creators should be making all that money. The creators should be, the people who are creating these things deserve to monetize, their creations and have ownership over them, Like a friend of mine, she's made 1,000 AR filters for Instagram and TikTok. She has gone viral over 1 billion impressions, on her creation. She doesn't make any money. Why? It's actually, all going into Instagram's pockets, TikTok's pockets, because now they have active users. So if you can capture attention, right? If you could capture attention, you should be able to monetize these things, especially if you're the one creating these things, So yeah, that's the vision. We want to enable absolutely every person in the world to be able to create anything in this digital world and then tie it to the physical world, Because I hear a lot of people talking about NFTs being, backed by physical, things. And that's a huge problem that hasn't been solved yet because the people are being so greedy. We should just take museums and we should take like these art storage places and give them the opportunity to be to verify if things are really backed by the physical goods. There's so many different things that we should be doing in the space, but because of greed, we're really not. Anyone else? Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. You can follow me on Instagram at Bitcoin Changed My Life.